Hey all, this is David Ducker coming back at you. And today I'm going to be talking about fighting styles and finishing moves. Um, it's very important to differentiate your characters from one another. A lot of RPGs involve combat of one type or another. So you really want to spend some time, if your character is going to get into combat, think ahead of time about how he's going to behave during combat. You can really display a lot about a character based on the way they fight, the way they move, the way they do things. I'm going to bring up a great example from the movie The Matrix. Excellent movie. And when you see the fight scene between Neo and Agent Smith, you can tell so much about both those characters by the way they move, the way they attack, the way they defend. Everything Neo does is smooth, it's acrobatic, it's flowing, it's like water, and it's a little bit flashy. He's a little bit cocky, he's quick, he's flexible. And this all translates into his personality as well. It's not just the way he fights, it's the way he is. The way he is the way he fights. So it was a great fight scene for Neo in that respect. And then you can look at Agent Smith and the way he fights, and it says so much about his character. He's rigid, he's inflexible, he's calculating though, he's prepared, he's strong, he's straight at you, he's coming forward all the time, always attacking, always moving forward. He's relentless, he's ruthless. Whereas Neo is attacking from the side. He's not coming straight at you. He's coming up where you least expect him. That's what he wants to do. He's trying to outsmart you. Whereas Agent Smith is trying to run you down. He's trying to push you down, beat you down, and do it with no style and no finesse, all power, all the time. And that says so much about his character as well. You know, he's a machine. He's filled with anger. So if you're bringing your character, think about how he's going to fight. And it doesn't matter if we're talking martial arts, kung fu, karate, kareze. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're talking about sniper rifles, assault rifles, flying a fighter pilot, flying a fighter in a dog fight if you're a fighter pilot. Doesn't matter if you're swinging a sword or a mace or a spear, a longbow, whatever you're doing, think about how your character would do it. You know, there's so many different styles and ways you can do things. As a sniper, is he cold, ruthless, calculating? Does he adjust for the wind? Or does he just kind of flow? Does he go into a Zen state? And does he just leave his body mentally, and his body does the work while his mind's elsewhere? Or is he calculating and his mind is focused on the target like a laser beam? How does he anticipate his opponent's movements? Does he emphasize with them, imagine what they're going to do so he can predict them? Or does he mechanically think of what's most likely for them to do? What is the most likely thing for them to do next? You know, when he's fighting with a sword, for example, does he test his opponent's defenses systematically? Does he attack ruthlessly with great speed? Or does he hang back and he plays defense and he looks for the right opportunity to strike offensively just once with a perfect thrust? And this can translate also into the type of weapon that they use. What type of character uses a spear? What type of character uses a battle axe? What type of character uses a sword? Think about this before you commit into your character. You know, for me, I often attribute spears with more agility and dexterity, style, finesse. People who don't really value strength as much as they do value flexibility. Whereas if you look at something like an axe, it's pretty much the opposite. Whereas they want power. They're going to lose agility, but they don't care. They want power. They want ruthlessness. They want aggression. They want it to be over quick. And they don't care if it looks pretty. They just want the job done. So contrasting against each other, even what kind of person uses a crossbow versus a longbow, or who carries a revolver versus someone who carries a semi-auto pistol. What kind of starship do they fly? How do they pilot their starfighter? And you can really bring so much of their personality out, and it can all gel together so well that I'd encourage everyone to think about this beforehand, and think about each movement and what it says, what you can read into it. So that's my ramble about fighting styles. As a little tag on the end here, I'll mention I love finishing moves, signature moves, whatever it is, whatever you're doing. I'd highly recommend you incorporate that. It gives you so much more flair and style, finesse to your character. So if you come in with a sword fighter, you do a spinning, backhanded cut as your finishing move. That's great. Or if you come in as that same sword fighter, if you look at Achilles in the movie Troy, he does a Superman stab where he thrusts with the shield as he jumps up in midair, and in midair he switches from shield to sword with his stab. So he has a finishing move or a signature move, whatever the context is. If he finished them, it's a finishing move. If he does it all the time, but sometimes it doesn't kill them, it's a signature move. And your genre might determine that as well. If the more realistic you are, the less likely you're going to have a finishing move. The more likely you're going to have a signature move. The more cartoony you are, the more likely you're going to have a finishing move instead of a signature. But it can add a whole lot into the character. So if you're if you're playing a spear fighter, someone who comes in with a space tornado style move, which I've seen where the spear fighter will come in, and if they can catch their opponent off guard, if they can close in close to them, wrap the spear around their opponent's back of their neck, do a leg trip while they drive down with the butt of the spear, as a space tornado assisted by the spear, that's a great finishing move for a spear fighter. But then another spear fighter might come in, and they're going to take their spear and they're going to change the grip so that they're holding it by the very end of the spear, come way up and smash you with their spear, and they have enormous reach on that one attack. And if it catches you, it's going to come through with a lot of power and weight. And of course, if it doesn't catch you, they're going to be wide open for a little while. But whatever move it is, try to bring it back. Bring it back for the next fight. Bring it back for the next fight. And make it a signature part of your style. Especially if it can reflect your character. Like I said, with the one, if you got your spear, all of a sudden you're up and you bring the whole spear down, that says a lot about how reckless you actually are, versus if you got your spear and you close into them and you hook them and then take them down with that space tornado. That says so much about being fearless, because a lot of spear fighters don't want to get that close to someone. But the fact that you're willing to not only get in, but you're going to try to get in, they'll never expect that. And hopefully that element of surprise and your own confidence in that skill is going to win the day. And that says a lot about a character, how he thinks of himself, how he thinks that the world works, how he thinks the gods are watching over him, perhaps. So that's also my ramble about finishing moves. So you get 2 for 1 in this instance. As I hope someone has benefited by that. Now this is a difficult topic to discuss in text, but please leave in the comments below anytime that you use a finishing move on a character, any tag team moves. If you got a signature tag team moves where 2 characters always work together and hit the same double team move against one opponent, I'd love to hear about it, or just describe to me about your character's fighting style and how you made your character unique and different through their fighting style, or showed off their personality. I'd love to hear about it, and everybody reading it will benefit from your example as well. I hope. Anyway, have a good day in YouTube land. Cheers.